Hey guys, welcome back to yet another episode of Real Talk with Patricia. Today we'll be talking about some questions that we need to ask before we get involved in a relationship or we enter a relationship. Now, to go into what a relationship is, I believe that when we are in a relationship or we consider that we're in a relationship, we need to be sure that we are actually in a relationship because I recently learned that some people will be in something looking like a relationship. One party will think that they're in a relationship and the other party might think that they're just in a friendship. So I think first and foremost, we need to define where we are in this relationship. Is this consider a relationship? We need to put that clearly out on the table because we don't want to assume anything. And
Yeah.
I also want to say that individuals need to make their intention clear as to where they want to take a relationship to and to proceed from there. So let's just get right into the meat of the matter. Let's just get right into the topic, and we just want to start with Tashi today to see, what she think about this topic here right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what I think, first of all, develop a friendship.
Mm-hmm.
That is number one. A lot of time people are in a relationship and they cannot even be friends. So let's develop a friendship first,
Yeah.
right? Before even discussing a serious relationship. And also let's develop self-control. Like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times we may be friends with somebody, and as soon as some feelings start, we want to
Mm-hmm.
have some sexual relation. It's good to have self-control
Mm-hmm.
until you get to know an individual, because we can avoid a lot of crises and heartache if we can just control ourselves and
Yes.
focus on more learning about
Each
someone,
other.
each other. Yeah. Now, my first my first question to ask before getting into a relationship
Mm-hmm.
is communication. Now, it might sound like, aren't we communicating by just asking these questions? But a lot of times we assume a person comprehensive level
Mm-hmm.
is, at par, which it is not. So it is good to talk about communication. Like, are we listening to learn, or are we listening to win an argument? Is that type of person you're getting involved with? And it can be shown by just a casual conversation with individuals. You could be
Yeah.
talking about, just day to day happenings in the news, and just listen how that conversation goes. Is it
Mm-hmm.
more of a listen to learn, or if it just more of a listen
One
to win my
sided.
point, listen to get my
Mm-hmm.
point? You're not trying to understand or hear the next person talk. It's more of, okay, hurry up and speak so I can speak so that I can win this conversation. You have to
Mm-hmm.
look out for that. Um, Communication also can be like empathy building. Now, empathy is a skill that enables you to feel something that another person is feeling. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of times, it might not seem important to you, but because the person raised that topic or raised that issue, are you able to empathize with that person? A lot of time, that is where sometimes that is where nagging will come into play,
Mm-hmm.
because what is deemed important to me is not important to you. But can you empathize to say, okay, let me understand, why is this person bringing this up?
Yeah.
stuff like that. You have to know if that is a type of person that is empathetic. Because you have people
Mm.
out there that only talk about themselves. And you can even listen to certain conversation. Just giving you an example. So for example, I would be talking to Misa and I'm like, Misa, my my dad, he met in an accident and I'm just trying to, you know, help him recuperate, but with work and helping him to recuperate and I have a son, it's so hard. And the Misa response would be like, I totally understand. Because when my mom, then it just goes to her. Now, although she said she totally understand, it may sound like she's empathizing, but she's not really. The conversation flip talking to about herself.
Y-
So it's
Mm.
no longer about what
To
you brought.
piggyback on what you are saying, though, Tash, that's a very strong point that you have, because
Yeah.
there are it's like half of the population that when they're having a conversation,
Yep.
they feel when they're doing that, when they're relating, that they're empathizing,
I have that same
because they
issue, trust
feel
me.
because
Mm-hmm.
they feel like they're saying, yeah, I understand. Here's a situation that I've been through that is the same thing that you were going through. So that is showing that I understand where you're coming from, which I am that kind of
Exactly.
person. But you have other people who are like, why is this suddenly about you? Which
Exactly.
maybe the person is not trying to make
Yes,
it
because they
about them.
take over the conversation. Yeah.
They're just trying to say,
Exactly.
see, we have the same thing going on here, and this is how I dealt with it. So maybe you can take that information and use it
And
for your
use it.
situation.
But
But other
the
people
thing
might
is,
not think that's not what they're doing. That
no,
is.
for real. And that is why you have to know now what type of person you're getting in a
Mm-hmm.
relationship with,
Mm-hmm.
to know if that's the type of person that is how they show their empathy by, kind of giving you example of how they dealt with the situation, or if it's just a person who just love to talk about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because in today's society, we have all the social media, all the TikToks that everybody's talking, all the vlogging. You talk to yourself for 8 hours straight. So people are so into themselves
Listening
that
to
you have to
themselves. Yeah.
you have to know how to pick out the ones that actually mean you good than actually just talking about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So that, yeah, for real, that is a good point as well. So
Mm-hmm.
doing that communication before going into a relationship, you'll know what type of person is, what type of empathizing person that is, right?
Yeah.
Um, and next
Let's
one
get
I
one
have.
from Shamisha. Hold on, Tashana.
Okay,
Let
sorry.
me let me
Okay,
see if Shamisha is still there.
Yes, I'm still here.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's get into couple from Shamisha and couple from Brianna. Then we come back around.
okay.
Yeah. Or Brianna or
What is,
Shamisha, whichever one want
what
to
is
go.
it? What is it that you?
No, some
The
questions
questions
that we
before
want to
getting into a
ask.
relationship.
Yeah.
Okay, so I should tell you one question that I should ask.
Okay, we're looking
Yes.
at the topic, questions that we should ask before getting in a relationship. What you think are some concerns that a person should ask about before they actually get into the relationship? What you think is important? Some stuff. Yeah.
Before getting into a relationship.
Hmm. I know you could ask if they want to have children.
Yes, are you working? Are you financially stable?
Of course. Of
Yes.
course.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah.
And
What you think that is important though? Why we need to find that out? Because what if he's not
um
working and going to school?
and then I find out what is his plans. What are your plans in terms of being financially stable?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's important for me. May not be important to someone else, but that's important for me,
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
And of course, kids.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, you need to be financially stable for us to start a family.
Exactly.
So it all boils back to, or it all goes back to, are you financially stable? If not, what are your steps on getting financially stable?
Absolutely, yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Because somebody could be in school, like they could be working on their career or working on a skill or something like that too. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And what's your step after that? What are your plans after that? Are you planning on taking a year off? Because a lot of us, when we leave school, we always say, you know what, I'm gonna take a year off because I've been in school for so long. I
So
need this
long,
year
yeah,
for
true.
myself. You need to know all these
All these things,
things.
true.
Yeah. Are you
Mm-hmm.
planning on moving out of your parents' house?
Mm-hmm. Of course, because some people no, true. Because we
Yeah.
assume a lot of things.
Yeah.
So
So,
true.
it has a lot of it have to a lot of it depends on you as an individual, what's
What you
important to
want.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So those questions I would ask.
So I think
um
basically, in essence, is you would have to know yourself first. I always like to
one
start with self.
yeah, one question I would ask,
Yeah,
how
go
are
ahead.
you on privacy?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Whereas,
Good question.
can I touch
Mm-hmm.
your phone or I can't touch your phone?
Mm-hmm. No, true.
you know Once you tell me, listen, you can't touch my phone, you can never touch my phone, I think that's a big red flag for me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then that is not going nowhere. So see,
Mm-hmm.
good question to ask.
No, good question to ask. Good question to ask. Because you want to know if the person have any secret, like you going keep us a secret also too, because you want to know where they're going with the relationship too. What is this? Is just this to pass time? Because sometimes some people enter into they want to start a relationship just to pass time with you till they find somebody else too, right? You might have this kind of relationship, so you don't know what the person's intention is. So come right back to what you're saying. If you ask these questions and the person say no, you can't touch why you want to touch my phone, I have need to have my privacy and thing, you know that might just be a temporary relationship kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Brenna, you have any?
I yeah, I think you should also ask the person what they think cheating is. Like, what do they consider cheating?
Good question. Good
Oh, that I love that.
question. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, man.
Because some people might think that if it's not physical, then it's not cheating.
Mm-hmm.
So some people will say if they're flirting with someone else outside of the relationship, that's not considered cheating. But
Mm-hmm.
somebody else might say that is very much so cheating.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You
Yeah.
need to know where the headspace are. No,
Yeah.
for sure. So
And
if you,
emotional cheating too.
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm.
'Cause
So
just by
if,
talking to somebody casually every
Mm-hmm.
single day, mm,
mm-hmm.
yeah, no.
And you must know, and you would have to be in that position to say that level of mature. Because asking all these questions are what we are saying. I would imagine you would have to be at a level of maturity to even begin to think about these questions, because as as we were talking in another video about where some people might be afraid to ask certain things because in our culture it might come across as an embarrassing question to ask, or some men might feel like they don't want to do the long talking and all this type of thing. If you know you're at a certain level of maturity and you find that man coming towards you, that shouldn't be something attractive for you to want to go into with that person. If that is where their mental capacity is, by saying something like that to you, to say, I'm not a person into the long talking and the this and the that. Once you see people coming to you, a person coming to you and saying that, how comes you're not into long talking but you want to involve in another person's life,
Mm-hmm.
but you're
Yeah.
not into talking, you're not into how, so how you
No
gonna
long talking, only long sex.
Maybe not even that long.
Maybe not.
Don't do that no
But
long.
no, Shameen, as you talk about that, that would be another question to ask too, where the sex
Yeah.
part is concerned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
Yes, it's
think that
true.
should be another
That
question. I maybe Tasha had that on her list here.
Even
that
to how often do you
the
expect
frequency of
sex?
sex. Exactly. Because
Yes,
you can't have
yes.
you can't have one person will love it and one person will not will love it. That not gonna work. Because I watched a video where the female she love having sex
Mm-hmm.
while the man
Man.
he he have it occasionally, and
Mm-hmm.
she felt as if he didn't love her, and he was like he loved his wife. Well, they were a married couple. They loved their his wife. He loved his wife very much, but she thought she was unattracted to him because he's not pursuing her sexually, and they had to end up
Mm-hmm.
going on this show big public show now to talk about that. So if they
Wow.
had talked about that before getting into a relationship, to say, okay, what are you? How frequent you think
Mm-hmm.
you should
The
have sex
appetite, the
a
sexual
month?
appetite. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yes. How hungry are you for sex? Is it what you want it every day? You want it every
Mm-hmm.
other day? You want it twice a week? Those things are things to ask because sex is very important
Mm-hmm.
to a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people, and you cannot go into a relationship if sex is not important to you and sex is important to the next person. Then somebody is going to be lacking, and that is where now go stepping
Mm-hmm.
outside of things going
The
to happen.
relationship. And as you on the
Exactly.
topic of sex too, it comes back to even what type of sex. Because now with so many different things going on, different stuff that people want to involve in where sexual activities are
Yeah. Are you
concerned.
open minded where
What
sexual
is that?
sexual
Yeah,
desire is
yeah,
concerned? So
yeah.
are you just the mom and pop? Or are
Mm.
you at least going to do some little
Freaky deaky.
um freaky deaky
And some you have
things?
the freaky deaky ones them who want
So
to
you have
involve with
yeah,
other
you have
people in
to
the in the relationship. So when you're going into a relationship, you have to just think what this person coming to you with, because sometimes when you're in the relationship, that's when you see people coming now with some new things to introduce in the relationship, and that might just freak you out while you're in there. So you want to get into people's mind earlier, especially when it comes on to sex and with today's society as well too.
Because like you don't have to really say, for example, as Misa would say, it's a a touchy topic.
Mm-hmm.
But you can just say, okay, are you an open minded person where sex is concerned? Then right there you'll know, like,
Yeah,
listen,
right.
man, man no bow. So from that, so okay, close minded. So you must know if you go okay with that. If you're okay with that,
Mm-hmm.
fine. From just hearing a man talk, you can know, okay, if he's like, listen,
It's
just
not gonna be
strictly,
able to, yeah.
yeah. So then know especially if sex is important to you, where
Mm-hmm.
certain sexual um
Activities are, yeah.
activity is important to
Mm-hmm.
you. If you see
Mm-hmm.
that person talking like that, then more than likely, because sometimes they just have talk, but then when they go in is a
In the
different
bedroom is
thing.
a
But
different story.
if it's something where you're gonna be like, okay, you know what? Because I've been in a relationship like that before, where the guy was like, no,
Head.
cunnilingus going to happen, and I'm like, that is perfectly fine because I don't think a guy should be going there to any and everywhere. But to me, that is important. So that wouldn't work out for me, especially if it is important. So at least I know that from day one. Easy cheesy, beautiful cover girl.
Yeah,
Communication.
yeah. Yeah, you just
Yes.
communicate
So
the thing, because if you know that is important and that means something to you, where
mhm.
it would interfere with whatever it is, it would interfere with your sexual activity or your emotional, or it set the pace for you or whatever. If that is a very important thing for you, and if it is something that you can live without, and you know that okay, it's, but no point in going in a relationship and then you're complaining afterwards, because I
Exactly.
see so many people go into relationship, and so many females, they want the man to indulge into certain activities, and the man say from, oh, right, you know me not do them things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you want to force this person to do this activity, which is not into it from day one. He tells you that, so you should know that you can live without it,
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
and don't force it.
And
And
don't force a person to do nothing.
yeah,
Exactly.
or you talk about it, or don't come in public and talk about it. If you feel like you maybe want to revisit that with him, because maybe after getting to know each other over a period of time, the person can change their mind, and they
But
might
it's not fair
indulge
for
in
you to go
certain
into that
activity, but
expecting the
still
person to change their mind.
with that expectation. Exactly. So, and I think as you go along in the relationship, if like people want to spice up the bedroom and spice up the relationship and so on, but if they're going to come with something that is going to be a drastic thing, I think they need to know how to approach the
Put it on the
partner
table
with certain
immediately.
questions. It on the
Yeah.
table, so that they can know that I was thinking about this thing. I was thinking about this. I don't know how you feel about it. Then just go surprise the person with something and then freak them out.
Mm-hmm.
And also it even shows the comfortable level that you can have with the conversation that you can have with your partner, because
Yes, that's true.
you shouldn't be able to be tiptoeing into a relationship when it comes
No.
down to talking to your partner. So
Yeah.
just by doing these things before relationship, you're gonna know, is this a person that is welcoming to any conversation that I draw
Mm-hmm.
with that person, or is it that okay only specific things because I don't deal with certain, you know, it,
Mm-hmm.
it's good to
Even so
ask
you
those
don't deal with
questions.
it, at least you can have a discussion about it too.
Yeah, because you can have discussion about things
Mm-hmm.
that you don't deal with, but at least
Mm-hmm.
you will know that by having discussion to know that okay, they don't deal with certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sex is a big thing.
And
Sex.
and next thing where sex is concerned, which with this one now, I think you would have to be in the friendship for a good while. It's not just meeting the person like a couple months or even a year or so to ask this question, because it's very very
Intimate.
intimate. Yeah. And I think you should ask about like sexual traumas, like, yes, because you have some couples, they're
Mm-hmm.
together where the female don't have no sexual desire, none whatsoever, because of
Mm-hmm.
something that happened in the
Mm-hmm.
past with her, and the man feels some type of way. He think it's something he's doing or something
Mm-hmm.
he had done, but it has nothing to do with him. It's
Yeah.
about her past. And that
Mm-hmm.
is where now you have to know, okay, you're gonna need some counseling. So I think that is a
Yeah, that's
very,
very important. Yeah.
very important intimate topic, but I think it is very important to know so that it can be dealt with if you're seriously
Mm-hmm.
looking a relationship with that individual. To me,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. No, but I think even though you say I think you should ask, that can be asked at an early stage too, because if, say for example, a person is having sexual that kind of problem, and you're communicating, as friends first, and then you're gonna take the relationship to another level within, say, 6 months or something, and you guys talking. I think over a period of time, it's just to know how to say things, or just to know how to, because you're just talking, right? So it's just how to maybe say things, and then it comes back to the communication. Come back to you communicate with each other. So I don't think it's a topic that you have to wait too long, or 1 year, or you don't have to wait too long to ask that topic too. It's just the
Yeah,
way on
it's
which
just
you
how
say it.
you,
But
yeah, it's the way how
because
you
it's
approach it.
so, yeah,
It's
yeah,
so
but because it's so personal, something you don't like to share it yet.
Well,
exactly. That's why I
some
was thinking
Mm-hmm.
more of
Yeah.
waiting, because say for example, it's
You're not
that
going
thing that
anywhere with the
forceful,
relationship. Yeah.
you're forcefully, something was forcefully done to you. It is
Mm-hmm.
something very, maybe you even trying to forget it, or so it's something very touchy,
or
and
say
then you
for
don't know.
instance, sorry. So for instance, you guys were already talking about the sex topic. Say you're sharing like your the kinks or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think it just depends on what you guys were talking about the time. I think that is a time where you
To
could
put
ask
this
that
in,
question.
yeah.
Could ask, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just how
When you
to
get
do
to
it.
that, yeah.
When I said it's very touchy, so that's why I was
Yeah,
more thinking
you
that
don't
it's
just jump
something
at
that,
that
Yeah, they
first.
yeah,
definitely
it's
have to be comfortable with you in order
Mm-hmm.
to answer that
exactly,
question.
that's what I meant. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes, yes. That's a very important question, Tashi. That's a very important question to ask. And Brenna, did you have any other questions that you think we need to put
Um,
out there? Because you are the young one out there, so we want to know what you think.
Listen, me young too.
Ah,
oh, I think another one is like maybe if someone is upset, like how to
mhm.
deal with them when they're upset. Because you have
Yes,
some
sir.
people where when they're upset, they don't really want you to badger them at the
Yes, sir.
time. They just want to sit by themselves for a little while before they come
Mm-mm.
back to the
Yes, sir.
topic.
Yes, good
But you have
one,
some
girl.
people who want to get into the meat of the matter immediately.
Yes, I agree. That I think that is a great one, because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of time we don't realize that, and that is what it cause breakups, just
Mm-hmm.
by
Yeah, because
resolving certain arguments. So I had something written down. It was called emotional withdrawal. And a lot
mm,
of I was just listening to a podcast when I heard about this, and when I heard it, I was like, yes, that makes a lot of sense. Yes, women does it as well, but I think men tend to do it more,
Mm-hmm.
where when there's an argument they tend to withdraw, like they just tend to be quiet, or they're like, you know what, I'm gonna breeze out, I'm
Mm-hmm.
going for a walk, I'm going for a drive. And they were explaining something in regarding to, no, I don't know how factual is this, unless I was just listening to a podcast, and they were saying, um God made men, their function was to protect, right? So
mm-hmm,
say for example, they get angry. Now their emotion is an angry emotion. So in order to protect you from their anger, they sometimes withdraw, because they
Mm-hmm.
don't really want to give it that real
that
hardcore,
Rawness.
trash.
yeah. So when they mellow out, they're still angry, but when they're mellow out, they more can, um
Rationalize.
yes, rationalize. They more can conceptualize certain things, then come back to you still angry, but they can, level it out different than
Control themselves,
that
yeah.
raw anger that they had before. So when I heard that on the podcast, I'm like, I agree with that, because I'm sure many of us have been in a relationship with men, and we have seen that behavior, and we tend to think that they're running from an argument instead of just facing up and manning up, and because we just love to
Badger
just
them. We just keep
get to
badgering them,
it.
badgering them.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one of the things that they mentioned, Brenna. That was a brilliant point that you made there. How to go about conflict resolution when it
Yeah.
comes to certain things. So yeah.
No,
Mhm.
yeah, that is great that Brenna point that out for real. Because in that way, people would have to know themselves to give you a proper answer too. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you're going in a relationship and if you ask a question and the man might say, well, I never really think, I don't really get upset, or say something, that can be true.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all have our time, and then you would know if he's self-aware,
Yeah.
so then if he can't give you no answer towards that, he's not aware of himself, or if he's telling
Yeah.
you something that doesn't line up with typical men's behavior, that that men do get angry. We all get angry, but
Because
the typical behavior. Somebody saying
you have
something.
you have people who are passive aggressive, so they're not outright
Mm-hmm.
aggressive. They keep in things
Exactly.
like myself. I will keep in
Mm-hmm.
things. I will hold my tongue. But
Mm-hmm.
one day, the pipe must burst, and that is when everything just break loose. So you do have some. Maybe sometimes when people say, "I don't really get upset," it's not that they don't get upset. They just internally
But
upset.
they would know. But then the thing is, you just said it. You just said about yourself, like you're
Hmm.
passive. You will internalize. So that person would we know we all have to deal with stress and certain situation where we will get upset from time to time. So if that person is denying that weakness, or saying that they are cool with everything, that can be right.
Yeah,
That
we're a human
something.
being.
Yeah, we are human beings. We have to deal with our emotions at some point in time, because to see, are you aware of yourself though? Do you internalize things? So if you
Yeah,
internalize it, then you would be aware to say, you know what, if I do get upset, sometime I might internalize it, and you might see I go by myself. And if I go by myself and I said, I'll speak to you, just acknowledge that. Just know that that
yeah,
is
and
that.
that is why it's good to communicate that. So at least
Hmm.
when they see those little cues, they
You
don't
know
try
what to do.
pushing because
Hmm.
they understand. And a lot of
Yes.
time it's because they don't understand why we push, because we're not
Yes.
realizing that the type of person that
That
person is.
person is. Yeah, no,
Mhm.
true. When you get the warning sign, okay, don't venture, just leave the person.
Exactly. And that
Yeah.
is that is fine. Because
Hmm.
sometimes, yeah, it's good to breeze ahead and come back more
Hmm.
mellow than just because you're gonna see. Can remember now words, you can't take back words. So sometimes you
Hmm.
have to put to analyze the situation before you speak, so that now
Hmm.
to get a resolution to
Hmm.
resolve the issue. Hmm.
I have another one, guys, and I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
this is a really important one too.
Yeah.
Hmm.
How did your last relationship end? Because
Yeah.
you can tell a lot about a person based on how
Hmm.
they answer
Hmm.
it.
Yeah.
Because if they
Hmm.
try to blame it on the
On the
other
other
person,
person,
then you know that that is kind of a red flag, because it's like
responsibility
there's
for
no way
nothing.
that it wasn't the two of you know that ended this relationship.
There's
Why is
two
it
sides to a story.
the two sides to a story?
Ah,
Absolutely, yeah.
two sides to a
If you're
story.
hearing too much about a crazy ex, maybe they
Yes,
were the crazy one.
true. No, that is true. And a lot of times we have dealt with that situation when you say, "So what happened to your last relationship?" The craziness come in, and
Mm-hmm.
you're like,
Mhm.
"So
Yeah.
you didn't do
Okay.
nothing?"
Mm. Yeah, Shamisha, did you have anything, any more to add? Like, or you can go and think about, because I have one that I
I'm
want.
thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at another one, like your emotion, or you express your emotion towards a person in,
Like their
when
love
you're out in
language.
public. How would you express yourself? Like, do you hold hands? Do you touch
Oh
each
Like
yeah.
their
other?
love language.
Your love language. How do you project your love towards me
Yes,
out in
that
public?
is what
Because,
going to.
yeah. So what do you think about that, Tash?
That is a great one. You see the love language thing? I
Hmm.
think because you notice how me so excited about
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
topic.
Because I just leave you, let you just keep going.
I think with the love language,
Yeah.
that can cause a lot of misunderstanding in
Hmm.
relationship
Absolutely.
because okay, the technical love language. Brenna can help me out with the love language thing. Is the
Mm-hmm.
words of affirmation,
Yes.
gifting.
Gift giving.
Mm-hmm.
Pr- uh,
Physical touch.
physical
Mm-hmm.
touch, time together,
Yeah,
and
quality
there's one
time.
quality time, and there's one more that
Action, the
yeah,
action one,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay. Now, if I am a person that my love language is showing me is the action,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if so, because now you have to know you have to know the two love language. You have to know your love language, and you have to know your partner's love language, and your partner have to need to know his love language and need to know your love language. Because if
Mm-hmm.
my love language is action, is when you do things. So you help
Yeah,
me
that
with the
is acts
chores,
of service. Acts of
acts
service.
of
That's the word.
service. Thank you, lady. So when acts of service is my acts of service is my love language for you. So you to give me acts of service, and then you're going to give me words of affirmation. That is
You know
where
why
the
you're not
conflict
talking?
goes.
That would
You know
definitely
why you're
piss
not
you
long
off.
talking this?
Like you're doing such a good job, honey. Before you come help me do the job.
Exactly, exactly. So
So this
that
can
is
cause
a
some misunderstanding. Seriously.
misunderstanding, and then it causes confusion because he's going to be like, no, but I'm commending her. I'm supporting her. I'm encouraging her. But
Mm-hmm.
that is not what I want.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it is really good to learn your love language and to learn your partner love language. Well, I keep saying lungs language, love
Love
language,
It's
and
language.
vice
okay.
Yeah.
versa.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because you have some people that love to give gifts. And yes, I like receiving gifts, but that doesn't consider me that you love me. Like, yeah, you give me gifts, but my gift is
Mm-hmm.
words of affirmation. So you're giving
Mm-hmm.
me, okay, it's Mother's Day or it's my birthday, and you give me a nice gift, but you don't even tell me happy birthday, or
Or you
some
don't even
like,
write a card to say you
yes,
appreciate me or whatever the case
express
may
your
be.
express yourself to me.
Mm-hmm.
So no, you just giving me gift. You're gonna say
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna start thinking. You think I just want it for your money, So
Mm-hmm.
certain things won't come into the head. So it's good to. That
Yeah,
is a
that's not
very good.
stimulating your, yeah, it's not
No,
stimulating.
And even to
Yeah.
people who have physical touch as their love language, there are many people who
Mm-hmm.
their love
yes,
language is not really physical touch. Like if you hug them, it's like, come off of me. So
Mm-hmm.
they might, if their love language is physical touch, they might be offended. If you
yes,
are feel
Mm-hmm.
you don't love them or you're trying to hide them because you don't have like public display of
Mm-hmm.
affection with them,
exactly.
or
Yes,
you don't hold them hand around your friends and stuff
Yeah,
like
that's what I was about to say, especially with social. Of course, yeah, because especially with the social media thing, and say, for example, even on this Facebook or different Instagram, and you might have your Instagram and you never put a picture of the person on your page or something like that. Somebody might take offense to that and say, oh, you never ever, like you're hiding me, or, something.
and
So
especially if it's a person that posts often. Like if you're a private person,
often, yes.
then I don't think you should take offense because that's just a private
Yeah,
person.
I
But if it's
understand.
a
Yeah.
person that take picture with their family, take picture with their friends, take picture going here, or I'm drinking some water,
Mm-hmm.
here's a picture, and then there's no picture of
Mm-hmm.
me, then I will consider that. I will
Mm-hmm.
question that as well, for real.
Yeah.
Yes,
What
yeah.
about what
I'm
about
loving this.
traveling? What about
Yeah,
traveling?
that's
Because
another
I
thing
know
too.
I know I love to travel, and I always see. So
Mhm.
if you're an outgoing person and stuff like that,
Yes,
like when you want to travel wherever, just going out. If I think you need to put that up front too, just to say, you know
yeah.
what? Yeah, yeah. I would just
Yeah,
definitely want to go with that
if
picture.
you're an outgoing person, if you're more homebound, like for
Mm-hmm.
me, I think I am a 50-50. I like my home, but I don't
Yeah.
mind going out as well. Sometimes I just like to Netflix and chill, like literally Netflix and chill, and that's okay with me. But then if
Yeah.
we can plan some
Mm-hmm.
outings, and because you
That's
have some people,
and the topic of that too. You have because you said outgoing. I kind of want to differentiate that from like being extroverted and introverted,
Well,
yeah,
because
okay,
outgoing
yeah,
could mean extroverted,
every day,
but that
every day,
still
every day,
doesn't
every
mean
day.
yeah. But because you use it in the sense of traveling,
Yeah.
a introverted person can love to travel.
Yeah.
Mhm. Which
Yeah.
I think
So
that
So
is what I
yeah.
was talking about. Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah,
I
we're just
just wanted
talking
to,
about the outside and the
yeah,
inside. Just
yeah, I know. I just wanted to, make it very
Differentiate.
differentiate.
Yeah,
like,
I
Yeah,
know
So
makes
that's
no
sense.
one wants to know if the person clean or not.
Of
How
course.
often you like to bathe.
no, that Tamisha, that is a very, very,
no,
very,
Cleanliness
that's
very
next to
important aspect.
godliness.
no, Shamisha, that one there. Mm-mm.
That one,
No,
we
you're
forget
serious.
about
No,
it,
that
but
one
that
is
should be at the top
that
of the
is at the
list.
top.
Yeah. Erase everything else and put that at front.
In caps lock.
Me I wonder why no one talk about
That is a great one,
cleanliness.
man.
Mm?
That
We
is
don't
a
wait
great
for you to talk about it, Shem. You don't know what for girl could,
cleanliness. Yes.
We can't
what for
take
girl
everything
could
from you.
say.
Yeah.
Yes,
No,
cleanliness,
cleanliness.
because
Yeah. Cleanliness.
even for me, just as friends, as when I'm friends with people, I I have certain friends' house where sometimes I don't like going to because
No, no, but for
where
real, baby.
my definition of messy is very different from their definition of messy.
Mm-hmm.
All
No,
right.
true.
I have a
No, true.
perfect little story. You have some female, that believe that a manly man need to have a
Nasty.
stench.
Musty.
need to smell like him just come from construction work,
Just
hard
come from
working.
bush.
And I couldn't fathom
Mm-hmm.
what she was talking about. I'm like, you find this man attractive? And she's
But you
like, yeah,
see,
he love how he smells. To
the
me,
mustiness.
he smell like it's not like he smells stink or anything, but you smell like he just come from work and need to go and have a shower. But that turned her on. So that is a good thing to talk about for real, because even into today's society, I've noticed that when men take care of themselves, they want to kind of deem them as the
Yeah.
one that love the yeah. And I am like, a man should take care of himself. He should get his nail clean and cut. He should have a pedicure, a manicure, a facial, a handshell, a footshell. They should take care of
Mm-hmm.
themselves,
Mm-hmm.
just like how they would like to see a female looking all dolled up, leg shaved like them never have one piece of hair on the leg. It's the same way
Mm-hmm.
the men should
Take
respect
care of their
themselves, because
hygiene.
it's even
Mm-hmm.
show that how you respect yourself. That show
Mm-hmm.
how you respect yourself, because if you don't respect yourself like that, how you gonna respect me?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
And
also I think Chamisha, that's relating to the whole hygiene and thing like that. But what about the around the house now? Like,
yeah, it come right back down, because
yes,
if you carry yourself like that, imagine how the house gonna look.
So true. That's what I
It
was thinking
starts
of
from
though.
yourself.
the household, right,
Hmm.
Chamisha?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Like, what aspect of it you were talking about? Like the household in terms of cleaning up after themselves,
Yes, and doing their chores,
their part.
laundries, yeah,
Yeah,
everything.
yeah,
It's not just a
yeah. Yes.
woman's job.
So they must be domesticated. They must can able to cook and clean too.
Yeah, do something, man. Do something.
Must can able to cook a meal can come give me. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Them, I like a man who can cook too. That's for
But
me for sure.
yeah,
Cause
but
I know I can be lazy in the kitchen
imagine
too.
you
But
as a female, you're sick, and he can't do nothing
and
for
he
you.
can't prepare a proper meal.
That is true. That is true.
Mhm.
So yeah, that is
Yeah.
so true.
Yeah. I think while dating, you should make a man prepare your meal for see how well he can cook.
But
And likewise, the man can do it to the female to see how well she can cook.
mhm.
But it would that nice,
But
for
you have some of the man them when they say, oh, me nah wash no woman drawers and me nah
eh
this and me nah
What if you're
and
sick and
you
your hand
yeah,
break
you
and something
understand?
happen to you?
And
What
that is why we're
Like a
giving all the questions to ask before you get into a relationship, because you
yeah,
wouldn't want to
can
be
you
in a
could
relationship. And that is when you hear say, no, if you're
them no
sick,
touch panty and
dog,
them
me
no
no
touch
suffer.
this. underwear. Man, not touch underwear. Because what if you meet in an accident and you
Yeah.
can't move around? You have to go hire a helper when you have your husband or your spouse around you when could help
True,
you
true
and do
story.
something.
Exactly.
True story. So I know this person, right? They've been dating for a couple of years, but they never lived together. And
Right.
he finally decided he's gonna stay over for, I think it was for the weekend. And it so happened that she started her menstrual. And the
Right.
guy look, and she cooked dinner. The guy look on her and say, "Ah, who you get that? In a
Because
Yes,
today's days, in a
you have some.
today's,
Listen,
no, you have
Lisa,
men
I
who feel
I
you're
know what you're
unclean
talking.
because of that.
You have today's men. You have some men in today's society that believe that once a woman is seeing her menstrual, she should not be cooking or handling or around him because the Bible. No, they try to pick what they will like out of the Bible and to stick with it, but certain things they don't want to stick with when it comes to the Bible. And yeah, you have I know a guy personally that is what he said to me that no woman can cook his food when she's seen her menstrual
I
and
would have happy with a man like that, Like I am a man, my menstrual every day. I just tell him I'm I let him go cook and clean and make you relax and
no
relax
one that is
yourself.
true. That
Because
is
that would be
true.
good. You wouldn't
That
mind
is
if the
true.
workplace would look at that too, to
Because
say once you're menstrually don't come
no,
to work.
but that was his reasoning, his
Mm-hmm.
so-called reasoning to say, when a woman is on her, she has in pain, she have feeling pain here and there, so you want her to relax. So he
Yeah,
will
I think
take
because the
care of
Bible
her
speak about unclean when you're in that, because you have
in
even
that state.
some religion, even the Rastafarian religion, they have I think the certain Rastafarian group,
Yeah.
they talk about the what you call it, they have a name what them call it, purification or whatever process
Hmm.
the female have to go through and
Yeah.
like that. So you need to know these
You
things,
need
how
to know
women
these
feel
things.
about
Yeah.
these things.
It's
Yeah,
the
so these are important things to pick
very
up on.
very important things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We definitely.
I have one more.
Yes, go right ahead. You have them all for us.
Um, so in this part now, I put it under like family and friends. Just that is just the
Oh,
broad
good.
topic,
Yeah.
and then you have a lot of subtopics underneath there. So I had like family history. So it can be health wise. So so many things can be passed down, and this is if you're somebody
sickle
that you're
cell.
yeah, it's somebody that you're deeming to focus on the future with your sickle cell. So many things can be
Yeah,
passed
because if
Even
down.
for
you have sickle cell
children.
and him have sickle cell, you must.
Your child, yeah, the
Yes.
child can. So you have to know about these things. I think that is very important for me. And also, family. I was listening to a podcast, and the guy, he's Jamaican background, and he was saying that he's from more of a rough Jamaican background, and his wife is from a more subtle Jamaican background. So
Wow.
growing up, he's used to when he's talking, he's shouting because that is just how the household is, projecting their voice. So
That
when he
sounds
used
like
to
our household too.
talk to his wife, he just sound like he's shouting, and she's like, "Why you always shouting at me? Did I do something?" And he's like, "I'm not." So no, there's a conflict there because like I'm not shouting, I'm just projecting my voice. So then is afterwards he kind of realized that no, for real, this is shouting, but it's just how he grew up. He just grew up with this big family and everybody trying to be
To put in
heard
their
and
two cents and
to put in
talking.
their two
I think
cents
we
and
come from a background like that too, where we talk loud.
exactly. So
We
it's
actually
good.
do not. If you ever hear other people outside
Norman,
of us,
outside of
we
us,
are not
we
loud.
are not loud.
Really?
We are
Not
not
at all.
loud. No, for real.
We are the quiet
So,
ones. They are asking
yeah,
you. They're asking us to speak up.
no, for real. We are the quiet ones. So it's good to know. the family,
That you don't
background.
misunderstand. Yeah,
And
you
it's
don't
not like it's
misunderstand.
something bad, It's just that
Yeah.
you need to look out for certain things when it happen. So
Yeah,
some
Yeah.
of these
true.
things is not like
So it
we're
can,
saying,
it
oh,
can be
if
a shock to the system.
exactly. It's not like to say that, oh, if the person come from a loud family, oh, I'm not going to speak to. No, it's just that in case they have certain patterns, you can address it with them too, because sometimes they don't even know that they have it,
No,
and then
that's so true.
they can learn how to unlearn certain things. So I
Mhm.
had that, and I also had childhood history growing up. So
Mhm.
just how, like, I just love ask random question. Like my
Mhm.
partner, sometimes you will be like, why just get this random question asking
Yeah,
me?
the interview, but the scrutiny.
So I
That's
was
it.
like, so how are you? How just give me a day of a small you, like coming
When you were
from
younger, yeah.
school. Like just reenact that for me. And that even that question, you get a lot of information. You will know if that person had a family that was involved in their education, if they had a family that they were silenced in that family and they didn't use they were withdraw, like
Mhm.
just that question alone, you can pick out a lot
And
of
how that affect
information
their growing up,
and
yeah.
how that affect them
Mm-hmm.
growing up and stuff like
Or there
that.
was a
So
missing person out of the family too, like if they didn't grow up with the father, if this person was missing out of
exactly.
their life, and then you can
Yeah.
actually know if that have any impact on the person, how they
Yes, so
function and
just
stuff like
just
that.
a childhood growing up, just a casual question, because I'm sure you're gonna hear a lot of nice stories and
Stories.
bad stories, which is
Mm-hmm.
good before you get
Mm-hmm.
into a relationship. So that is where now you can start to pick out certain traits and certain patterns. So that is a good
Religion,
question.
Religion.
Religion, yes.
unequally yoked.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
yes, girl.
Listen, listen to me, man. You don't done today because that is
You
a
saw the
that is
question I'm coming in.
a with most people
Yes,
by just
yes,
talking about unequal yoke because that is a serious thing because you have Christians who are really into their hard church and give them life to the Lord and they're still mingling
and
in
that is a
unbelief.
serious thing, because
That.
the Bible even mention it not to be unequal yoke. And
Hmm. And they
even
know it
because
and they
sometimes,
deliberately do it.
yeah, sometimes they do
Hmm.
it, and you can even listen to a person how they talk. I was in a relationship,
Hmm.
and when you used to say, thank God, you hear they say, yeah, man, thank the Most High, thank the Supreme Being, thank nature,
Like they don't
thank.
know who God is.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and then not, and I'm saying, so you can't use the word thank God for, and then that is when you hear, me not really in a that,
Hmm. And
that
then
that is
into the
no,
Bible, they're not into
yeah,
the Bible, and so yeah,
that is
no,
a
that's
good,
Shamisha.
good, good,
That
good,
is
good, 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 good question.
Shamisha question. I'm supposed to be at the top, because
No
that is a
man,
number one thing,
that is a
especially
good question. Hmm.
if you are in a spiritual life and you are
Yeah,
into a spiritual life, definitely those questions should be on the forefront,
yeah,
burner to see, especially for us as female. You want to know if that man, how him think about his God, how him think about his creator, because
yeah.
you want somebody to lead you and to develop you into a child of God and to strengthen you too, to pray
Mm-hmm.
with you,
So,
to fast with
question.
you. Hmm.
Yeah.
I say,
Yes.
beforehand,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't important to you, and then you decide, okay, you know what, I need to buckle up, get serious, and I decide to do it, and we're already in a relationship. What would you recommend?
Well,
And
the
and
Bible,
and
the
he,
Bible, the Bible speak about that, to say if you're both unbelievers, right, and then one change to become a believer, they said that the believer will draw the unbeliever. So God
mm,
is not telling us to to go separate when one
Yeah.
of you, the Bible speak about that. Most of the things that we want answers for, it is there in the Bible. I don't know which chapter exactly in the Bible, but it is in there that tell you that the believing husband or the believing wife, whichever one of them go first, will draw that one
Mm-hmm.
eventually, because your life is gonna change and he's gonna see you how you change drastically, or how you live your life differently. As long as you're
Mm-hmm.
living a good life pleasing to God,
To God,
and
yeah.
you're trying to live a life of holiness, that person, that spouse that you have, is going to see the change in you and going to want to move in that direction, because God is gonna
Yeah.
work on everybody right there, because he wants a
Work on
family
me, yeah.
to be together. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely you don't have to, not gonna
Only,
pull up your relationship or
only
nothing,
if,
no. Only if
only
you're
if you
married.
see that, only if you see that, because even if you're no, I'm saying only if you see that you're trying to live a holy life and trying to draw him in, or trying to draw her in, and then it's like they've been a stubborn mule. They don't want to go. You don't know what's going on, and if you see that it's kind of drawing you away from the church or drawing you away from God, that is when I think you should leave it,
Just leave
because
them. Yeah,
yeah,
because
because God
yeah,
come first.
yeah, you put God first in whatever you're doing, and you're not going to force them to come with you. You do what is, and I'm talking more of a married couple now. When you're married,
Mm-hmm.
and then one decide that they get saved now and they're going towards the living a holy life, right? That way, you don't even have to force him. You get up, you go to your church, you do what you have to do, you do your praying, you do whatever you have to do, and you pray for your husband, you pray, do what you have to do. You don't have to force him or nothing. He's just gonna see you.
Yeah.
But if you're what is it now, like just dating or whatever, then you know that is not really a relationship,
Yeah.
because but I think more Shamisha is asking like a more, if you're married type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you're married
Mm-hmm.
and you're in a married relationship and one changes, definitely the Bible tell you about that you are to be in your marriage, and the word of God say that the believing wife meaning is not physically drawing him.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
No, just your doing, your action will
yes,
encourage him or
yes,
her.
yes. Yeah, it's not like you're not gonna keep preaching to him, oh, you need to come to church, you need to this. You're not
No.
telling him that. Your action, which once you're living by the word of God, you are gonna be in the world but not of the world. So you're gonna change the way in which you do things now. You're gonna change the way you dress. You're gonna change the way you speak to your husband. You're gonna so many things is gonna change about you once you're living in the word, and he's gonna see that, and he's going the word of God say he's going to change. So God
Yeah.
will soften his heart and he will come his way, come towards God by himself when the time is
All the
right.
time. Yeah. Yeah.
When the time
Yeah.
is right, he
But
will
good
work
one.
on him. But that's a very good
Good
one,
one.
Shamisha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one, because those are very important to bring up. And as she mentioned about religion too, you want to know before marriage, before in relationship, you want to know how much of a, we were talking about the outgoing, but you have some people them party all day, party all night. When you look, you can't even find that person, you can't even see that person. But you're in a
Mm-hmm.
relationship and that person is spending so much time with friends. So I would
Outside,
say
yeah.
like to check out their friends outside, how much they value friendship, how much they value, the other side of the fence, meaning they are involved with you, but yet still they spend so much time time of their time with their friends, whether they're going to
Mm.
party or they're just hanging out with their friends, how much of that time they
Yeah.
give to friend instead of putting it into the relationship and trying to know you, because you have some relationship, they're in a relationship, but it's just like a kind of cover, like what you call it, just a front to say I'm in a relationship, but they spend like nearly 90% of their time outside in in a relationship with their friends. I would say
Yeah.
more out with the friends. And I find a lot of Jamaican men, some Jamaican men are like that, the ones who are the so-called party people. One, if you are not a party person and that person is a party person, I think that you should not go into something like that, because chances are there's gonna be a disconnect somewhere there. That relationship going to be
Mm-hmm.
disjointed where this person spending their time out there. So if you are not a party person, can fit into that zone with that person, I don't. That is totally a misfit.
Yeah.
That is gonna be a misfit with that. Yeah.
And
So.
just to piggy on that one, what you're talking
Mhm.
about, it's also even if how clingy is a person, because
Mhm.
in a relationship
Mhm.
you're gonna have people that is gonna be in in your life,
Yeah.
not just
Yeah.
only your partner, but
Yes.
how how clinging is a person can also be an issue
No, true.
to say okay, do you have friends, do you have family,
You
are
give
you
them your
thinking
space.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, are you thinking that it's just you and me forever, and you know so that
Mhm.
also is an important thing to kind of bring out there, so that if you're not a person that love clingy person, then that wouldn't be a relationship that you should be in.
Yeah, to define your boundaries too, like
Yeah.
how you're gonna define boundaries in terms of what is your limit to doing certain things.
Mm-hmm.
How best you define these, because say for example, person spend time, are they, as you say, clingy, and this person need their space, there should be some amount of boundary. This person like to maybe have their little man cave that they go into, or this woman
Mm-hmm.
might have her time that she does her knitting, or maybe do
Our woman
something,
cave.
our
Mm-hmm.
woman cave that she go in and do her little self love or whatever. You want to
Yeah.
treat yourself or whatever. There should be some boundaries that we give each other to say, it's time for you
Yeah.
to go out and do your nails or do whatever you
Yeah.
want to do.
Yeah.
You know,
Some you time.
yeah,
You
some
know.
me time type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That is good to know that a person is okay with that, and they're not calling down your phone or disturbing you unnecessarily to say, oh, blah blah blah, blah. Some kind of thing, some crazy stuff. You
Yeah.
want some kind of stability and security, and feel like you're secure in your relationship, kind of thing. And another one was to just to add, because we don't want to leave out the financial part of this is a very important question to ask about the how
How
they
they
are
value money,
get the value, yes, how they put the value on money, where they're going with their
invest.
life, how they see their future, how they see to retire, certain things, just to ask it out there just from the get-go, instead of assuming things,
Yeah.
look into things like how you see yourself in the future, what would you like to achieve, where do you see yourself, you know s- people can tell you anything, but at least they should have a
At
vision, they
least,
should have
yeah, at least I have something,
for their
some
life.
form of information.
Yeah, they should have
Because
a, of
it's
course,
best to go
they
into a
should have
relationship with false information than no information, because then you can say,
no
well,
information.
you told me this, so that mean you
Yes,
were
you have a
lying.
reference point. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. But when you have no reference point, you're just beating yourself internally like, John,
Why I
no,
didn't ask him
why me
this?
never ask him all these questions before?
No, I agree with you. Better you have false information. Better they tell you something
Yeah,
than
because
you don't have
they can
nothing to
tell you
work.
anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
We won't know, but at least you can't say never ask these
Yes,
questions,
yes.
and these were the
Because
answer that they give.
yeah, and it is important to you to
Mm-hmm,
know these things. It's not like no interrogation type of thing. But as you go
no.
along, these are some of
Mm-hmm.
the questions that we should be. It's not like we're going
Yeah.
to have a meeting one day and say, okay, come on sit down here. We're going to have
Come
some
now.
questions that I need to ask.
Question time. And there's tons of questions that we maybe missed too.
Yes,
But these are just
absolutely.
some of the questions that just, off bat, off hand from memory, what we
Yeah.
think you should ask. One more question that just came into my memory is also parenting skills. Like, we're coming from two different backgrounds. You have some parents that said, what do so what beat the rod, those follow, what was that saying again?
Oh,
Rod,
the Bible one, the one in the Bible that said, "Don't
beat the
spare
rod.
the rod and spoil the child." That means to say, if the child is rude, that means you're giving him a little whooping,
Yes, a
bump,
spanking.
a
While you
little
have some people
spanking.
that don't believe in spanking. So those are
Yes,
good things, especially
to
if it's a
ask,
relationship that you're
planning on.
planning on having kids, and so that's a very good question to ask about parenting skills
Mm-hmm,
and stuff like that.
mm-hmm. Oh,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
And
So
good to
I
ask if
think
them want kids in general.
and yeah,
yeah, and if you
yeah.
want
That
kids, yes. Yeah, first of all, it asks if you
in
want kids in
general,
general,
because
and then
some
you
people,
have parenting skills.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that is,
no,
yeah,
true,
true.
no, true. So that's the
Yeah.
thing.
And there's a lot
Very
more
true. So
questions
there are
that we
questions that we need
haven't.
to not yeah, several more questions that we can ask, but these are just some of the important questions that we have up front here, which we think it's
Yeah.
very important to
Mm-hmm.
not to shy away from asking a person, no matter how you feel about the person. He might smell good, look good, dress good, whatever, or she, and they might have a nice career and everything going good. But these are questions that we still need to ask persons to make sure that you know where you are going in the relationship. And also I think you should know where you are in the relationship with the person. As I mentioned before, you want to know what, because in today's society, before in my days, people could just know that this is what is happening. They just assume that they're in a relationship. Now you don't want to assume that you're in a relationship when another person maybe think this is just a friendship. You might be having sex, you might be doing all the things that come
Friends with
entails a
benefits.
relationship. Yeah. Yeah, it could be something like that. So you need to know where we are right now. I think people need to define their relationship, define where they want to go with the relationship, and just to make things clear and transparent to each other and
As
open.
best as possible. Because
As
not everything you're
of
gonna
course.
know at that time, but at least
Mhm.
try to get as much information as you can before
Yeah,
diving into a relationship. It will cause less stress and heartache at the end.
of course, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah. So that being said, we have come to the end of another great episode today, and we just want to thank everyone for participating. Remember, guys, if you have not subscribed yet to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe and listen to our podcast later on. And we just want to thank you. Peace, and we are out.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.